Assalamualaikum. Today I would like to present about effect of water management practice on pesticide behavior in paddy water. Okay, so herbicide has a great benefit to rice cultivation. However, previous monitoring study have demonstrated that the discharge of pesticide reach is peak during the period shortly after the pesticide application time. The surface drainage runoff of paddy water containing appreciably high concentration of pesticide is obviously responsible for this pollution. And so that a good water management practice for reducing herbicide loss from paddy field can be proposed. We go to the material and method. As you can see, we have a two part, is field experiment and gas chromatography analysis. And then okay, field experiment, one plot was assigned to the intermittent irrigation scheme with a high drainage gate AI plot, so using an automatic irrigation system. Okay, so the CI plot was keep irrigated at all time, but the flow rate depended on the pressure head in the pipeline. The corresponding height of the drainage gate from the soil surface for the CI plot was 2.5 cm. Okay, we look at the figure 1, layout of the experimental plot. So you have a flow water irrigation tape, sampling spots, so you can see that. And then we go to the gas chromatography analysis. The dichromatin in the filter was evaporated by rotation evaporator up to a volume of 1 ml and to complete dryness under a gentle nitrogen stream. The residue was suspended in 5 ml for acetone in an ultrasonic device. All of the solution was transferred to a test tube and kept at 4 degrees Celsius until the JC analysis. And then the sample with a high concentration 127 DAHA were diluted with water before extraction, and then the temperature was held at 270 degrees Celsius for 4 minutes, and a splitless injection mode was used with an injection volume of 4 milliliter. Okay, next we go to the result and discussion. As you can see, we have a 3 part: water balance, pesticide fate and transport in the paddy water, and herbicide properties and their fate. Okay, I will explain first water balance, and then we have this table show you the input and output CM. So AI plot, we have AI plot and CI plot, so that the result irrigation precipitation total at this, you can see that. And then output drainage pre-collision ET then total. So also you can see that here. And then I have a graph to show that the water balance. So the monitor water balance in the two plots AI and CI are presented in table 2. The precipitation for the study period of 2 months was 70.6 cm, and this amount was similar to be 22-year average precipitation in the regions. The average rate of the percolation during the monitoring period were 0.97 cmd for both the AI plots and CI plots. Although the percolation rate was obtained from the rest of the measure variable, the obtained value was still in the in the range of the typical Japanese paddy field reported by Nakagawa at 1967 year. So the similar percolation rate between the two plots may be due to the consistent soil preparation and the equal bonding water depths. Okay. However, the average value of the measure percolation rate, including this hotspot, considered with the monitor data. Some point with a higher rate were also observed along the concentrate bank of the plots. That means the seepage and or underbound percolation may contribute a significant portion to be water flow at this point. Okay. So this figure 2 is about spatial distribution of the percolation rate within the studies plots. And then the figure 3 observe water balance including precipitation, irrigation, drainage and paddy water depth in AI plot above and CI plot. Okay. So figure 4, you can see that the concentration of the study habitat in paddy water and drainage water of the study plot AI and CI. Okay. So and then this result confirm the conclusion of Watanabe that important factor in water management for saving water use in paddy rice production are first reduction of overflow drainage from excess irrigation, and the second efficient utilization of precipitation by storing as much rainwater as possible in the field. Okay, we go to pesticide feed and transport in paddy water. So the peak concentration of symmetry was the higher follower by thiobencob and mefenacid with the value respectively. At the end of the monitoring period 35 DAHA, the measured concentration of the study herbicide were lower than the advisory levels. So for symmetry, 0.009 mg. For mefenacid, the level for thiobencob is not available. For public surface water quality in Japan, MOE 11994, the higher concentration at 35 DAHA is that of symmetry at the drainage gate with the value. And then concerning the effect of the different water management practice on the behavior of the applied herbicide, the concentration of herbicide in the CI plot were consistently lower than the concentration in the AI plot. This was probably due to the dilution and loss of the dissolved herbicide, which were greater in the continuous irrigation and overflow drainage scene. As shown by the water balance, both the water input as well as the water drainage is in the CI plot were much higher than those in the AI plot. The herbicide concentrate in the drainage water from the CI plot were always higher than the concentration measured in the composite sample of the same sampling data, and the average difference was about 70% throughout the monitoring period. This phenomena result from the structure of the plot with irrigation water coming in one side and drainage water going out the other side. Okay, newly irrigated water therefore swept the standing water that containing a higher concentration of herbicide towards the drainage gate, creating a spatial variation in the herbicide concentration within the plot. also reported that the paddy plot and similar setup with a high drainage skid of 7.5 cm in 2001 had neither paddy water runoff nor herbicide runoff due to sufficient excess water storage during the monitoring period. The result imply that water management is important in order to control the herbicide runoff from the paddy field, especially during the earlier period with a higher herbicide concentration in the paddy water. A continuous irrigation and overflow drainage seam is not recommended during this vulnerable period. The disadvantage of the continuous irrigation and overflow drainage seam have been reported by previous study and mainly focus on the significant herbicide losses up to about 60% of the applied mass depending on the value of irrigation and precipitation. And then the difference in the factor in the equation and the R value between the two plot may be explained by the assumption that the herbicide in the CI plot were more affected by physical factors such as dilution and chemical loss from the excessive irrigation, and drainage thus shifted the dissipation mechanism away from the first order kinetic. Suggested that increasing the water holding period would significantly reduce the herbicide concentration. A longer water holding period of at least 10 days after herbicide application, based on the DT for further dissipation, might thus be a good agriculture practice for controlling the herbicide runoff from paddy field. Therefore, the currently recommended water holding of 3 to 4 days in Japan needs to be re-evaluated. In addition, the best water management practice which can be recommended for use during the water holding period is the intermittent irrigation scheme using an automatic irrigation system with high drainage gate. The proper extension of the water management practice for obtaining the optimum excess water storage during the water holding period is very important in order to have an effective control of the herbicide runoff from paddy field. However, the optimum excess water storage and its control of the water management are dependent on hydrological parameters such as precipitation, percolation, and evapotranspiration, and a detailed analysis may be required for future study. Okay, we go to the herbicide properties and their fate. In this study, the greater the K, the longer the DT50 and the smaller the herbicide lost by runoff also okay, this one figure 6 you can see the data of linear regression of the relative peak concentration of the studied herbicide. And then in this study, the greater the KOC, the longer that the DTSO, and the smaller the pesticide loss by runoff. Also, the greater the KOC, the lower the relative peak concentration of the applied herbicide. Among the three herbicide, thiobencarb, which had the highest KOC, had the lowest runoff loss. However, the importance of KOC and SW for the herbicide fate and transport in paddy field and its relation to agricultural practice such as water management and soil preparation should be further studied for the pesticide risk assessment. After the best water management practice, which can be recommended for use during the water holding period is the intermittent irrigation scheme using an automatic irrigation system with a higher drainage gates. So the proper extension of the water management practice for obtaining the option excess water storage during the water holding. The water holding period is very important in order to have efficient control of the herbicide runoff from the paddy field. Okay, lastly, the conclusion from this study, controlling paddy water runoff by the intermittent irrigation scheme using an automatic irrigation system with a high drainage gate, save irrigation water and prevented herbicides runoff, whereas the continuous irrigation and overflow scheme lost significant amount of water as well. As herbicides from the paddy field. And however, further investigation are required to understand the relation between KOC and agriculture practice, open the pesticide feed and transport. Also, the best water management practice which can be recommended for use during the water holding period is the intermittent irrigation scheme using an automatic irrigation system with a higher drainage rate. The proper extension of the water management practice for obtaining the optimum excess water storage during the water holding period is very important in order to have effective control of the herbicide runoff from paddy field. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.